Welcome. Today we are going to review the FortiVoice web-based user portal. To access the user portal, open a web browser such as Chrome or Firefox and enter the URL provided by the administrator. Next, enter the username and password provided by the system administrator to log into the user portal. On the top right of the user portal, you will see your extension number. You will also see the state of your extension. You may see different states such as not in use, unavailable, or DND for do not disturb. On the main screen is where you'll be able to access the widgets. However, these widgets, along with other features, may vary based on privileges designated by the system administrator. We'll first start with the call history. So the call history is the personal call history of your extension. This lists all incoming and outgoing calls made to and from your extension. You can download the entire call detail records as a CSV file, or you can double click on any one of these entries to view the call activity. So you'll be able to see call information, detail information of that call, and down below you'll be able to view the call flow. So you'll be able to see the call from beginning to end. So for example, we could see if the call entered into the welcome greeting, which is the auto attendant message. The caller dialed extension 3012 at the auto attendant level. As a result, there was no answer at the extension, so it followed the call handling no answer state, where the caller then entered into the mailbox of 3012 and left a voicemail message. Next, we're going to review voicemail. Along with supporting voicemail to email notification, voicemail messages can also be accessed through the user portal. So any new messages that come into the user portal will be bolded, as you can see here. Now you have the ability to manage your voicemail, where you can initiate a playback. You could choose to apply an action as well to specific messages, such as being able to delete the message, mark it as read, forward it off to a different extension, or even download it as a backup file. Next, we'll review the contact. So the contact section gives you visibility to view the corporate directory or company directory. And this company directory is something that you can filter by name or by number. You can also filter the type. So if we want to just focus on extensions, when we would choose SIP to view all the extensions that are available on the system. Once you locate the individual, then you can click on the little icon to initiate click to dial. So in doing so, then the call will take place directly on your physical phone. Next would be the business contact. So this is the global business contact, which would be managed by the system administrator. So if that's been configured, then you will be able to see the business contact listing from here. And again, you have the ability to filter by name or by number. Personal contact would be something you would commonly use. This is where you are able to build up your different personal contacts. Once you've added your contacts in here, you can designate which ones are treated as favorites, which then you have the ability to filter those right away. To the right of the phone number, you have the ability to add a contact to a speed dial, which will be associated to the keypad. So in this case, this one's designated for number 9 on the keypad. So if you were to press that on your phone, then it would initiate the call to that phone number. All the way to the right is where you can also remove a contact from the favorite list or even add the contact to the personal block list. So the personal block list is where you can define phone numbers that you don't want reaching your extension. So you can manually create that by clicking on New, or if it's an entry that already exists in your personal contact list, then you can easily add it to the block list. So call handling is where you're able to manage your calls that come to your extension. So your calls could be treated differently based on the state that your extension is in, along with other features. So I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up. So first we'll touch on voicemail. So with voicemail, every extension comes with a personal mailbox. Typically you record your greeting, and anyone that falls into your mailbox after the tone, they have to leave a message. With this voicemail option, you can allow a caller to exit out of that voicemail greeting by dialing 0. So that's something that you would need to specify in the voicemail greeting. And if the caller does choose to press 0 to exit out of the voicemail greeting, then they're going to follow the action that has been specified here under the call processing area, which by default is set to route to an operator. But we can set this to user defined to apply a specific action. The next one would be the block list. So if you recall the personal block list under contacts, if you have defined phone numbers in there, then any calls that attempt to reach your extension, that default action will be applied, which is to hang up on that caller. But again, you can set this to user defined to apply a different action. Phone not connected state means that the phone is not connecting to FortiVoice. So most likely it has lost registration to the phone system. In that situation, by default, it's predefined to route to your voicemail, your personal voicemail box. But again, we can set this to user defined to apply a different action to take. Next, we have the top 4 states: normal, no answer, busy, do not disturb. No answer, busy, and do not disturb by default are already predefined a route to your personal mailbox. But again, you can set this to user defined to follow a different action. The normal state is the normal state. So if you're not on the phone and a call comes in, typically you want your phone to ring so you're aware of a call that's coming in. But again, you have that ability to set it to define if you want to move away from the ringing phone action. Going more into the user define option. So if we look at the no answer state, or again, this could be the busy or do not disturb state. Like I said, any of those could be set to user defined. If we take a look here, the user defined is made up of 3 items. You have the schedule, which are predefined schedules that the system administrator has generated. You have the call from, where you can handle or apply different actions based on where the call is stemming from, such as whether it's internal calls that are reaching this extension or external calls coming in on the trunk trying to reach the extension. And then you have your various actions where we can ring the phone, route it to voicemail, we can engage follow me, play an announcement. So this is an announcement that you can record directly from the user portal. So any messages you may want to relay to the caller, for example, you can route it back to the main auto attendant's welcome greeting, for example. You can play a busy tone, hang up on the call, or engage call forwarding, where we can forward it off to a different phone number. Now I want to focus on the call forward and the follow me. So the call forward feature, like I said, would allow you to route the call to a different phone number. And in that situation, once the call has been sent out to that, forwarded off to that phone number, there's no further action that's taking place by the phone system. So if that call gets routed and it falls into the voicemail elsewhere, then that caller can leave a voicemail message at that endpoint. So call forwarding system has no way to, can't do anything with that call once the call has gone out. The follow me does something very similar. The follow me allows you to be able to forward the call to an external number, to another extension, but if the call hasn't been answered within X amount of rings, the system will have the ability to take the call back and possibly try a different phone number or try a different extension. Now, in order to implement follow me, you do have to predefine a follow me profile, which is done down below. So I've already created one here called call my cell phone. So essentially, any calls that come into my extension, in this example here, if there's no answer at my extension, then what I'm looking to do is implement follow me, where it would call my cell phone. And if it calls my cell phone, it's going to do so for 2 rings before the system pulls it back and then follows the next level of the call processing. Or, like I said, we could look at adding a different external number or maybe a different extension, like so. So we'll attempt calling the external number for 2 rings. So 12 seconds would be 2 rings. Every ring cycle is 6 seconds long. If that external party does not answer, then the system will pull the call back and try, in this example here, a different internal extension, in this case extension 3011, and we'll try and ring that extension for 3 times. And if they don't answer, then we could have it fall into, let's say, the mailbox of extension 3012. So it's going to go ahead and save that. So now I'm configuring the no answer state with user define. Now that I have my follow me profile, I'm going to just choose the business hour schedule and just focus on calls that are external calls that are coming into my extension, where now I can engage that follow me profile. So now that's been added in there. And if you recall, the call me cell phone profile, the call forwarding profile was going to attempt, after it attempted the external number, it was going to attempt an internal extension. And if that internal extension didn't answer, we want it to fall into voicemail. So I'm just going to add another option here to route to voicemail. And then that completes that call processing setup. Next feature I'm going to touch on would be the call recording. So the call recording basically allows you to initiate ad hoc call recording, be able to record your own personal phone calls. You would need access to the user portal then to review the call, where then you can initiate a playback, delete it, forward it off to somebody else, or even download it as a backup file. The fax function would be dependent on if an eFax account has been set up on the system. That's one piece of it. This basically allows you to send and receive faxes using the user portal. So any faxes that you receive would come into your inbox, and then you'd be able to send a fax out directly from here, where you just simply input the phone number and upload the attachment, which would need to be a PDF or JPEG. You can even add a fax header and station ID. Another use case for the fax would be if an eFax account has been configured and your extension has been selected to monitor those incoming faxes on that fax extension. For example, this one here is labeled front desk. So any faxes that are coming into front desk will then show up in here. So there's two examples here of two different files that have come through. And from this eFax account, you have the ability to send a fax on its behalf. Again, adding the phone number and uploading the attachments. A couple more items I wanted to touch on, again, which are also deemed an advanced function, will be the programming of the phone keys. So this would be specific to the Fortinet FortiPhones, the physical IP phones. Now, again, this is based on the privilege that system administrator has applied or designated to you, where you may be able to manage and program your phone keys for different actions, such as being able to configure the part key to put calls on hold at the phone system level. So basically the calls automatically fall into a park orbit, which then the intended recipient will then be able to retrieve it from the park orbit. So the system will tell you what park orbit the call has fallen into. You could set up system speed dials. You can configure user speed dials, where you're able to program quick one-touch keys, maybe to frequent phone numbers that you're dialing. You can implement call forwarding. There's intercom page, extension appearance if you want to see the states of other extensions. And you have the ability to configure the label as well. So you could see in this example here for extension 3011, whether they're on a call or not. There's a line appearance that you can keep track of. There's the record button that would, again, have to be given to you as a privilege, where then you can initiate ad hoc call recording to record your own personal calls and then be able to review those calls within the user portal. And the twinning function is another popular one here, where the twinning feature basically allows you to pair your extension with an external phone number like your cell phone. So we can set up a twinning button to basically toggle it, turn it on, turn it off. You also have the ability to change the phone number. Now that could also be done manually within the user portal, if the preferences, again, have been exposed as a privilege. So under the preferences, if we scroll all the way down, you'll have the twinning setting option here, where you would have the ability to either set it to simple mode, where you can turn it on, turn it off, and specify the phone number, like your cell phone number in here. So with this feature active, what will happen is any calls that come into your extension, in this example here, extension 3012, will not only ring the physical handset, but will simultaneously ring your cell phone number as well. So then you'll be able to take the call wherever you are. With the twinning function, if you are on your cell phone, you would have the ability, let's say if you happen to be in the vicinity of your desk phone, to press the twinning button to seamlessly transfer that call from your cell phone to your desk phone. And that basically concludes the overview of the FortiVoice user portal. There is a help icon here that if you were to click on that, will bring up access to more information related to the FortiVoice user web portal, which goes into further details about each of the parameters that I had touched on. I hope this was helpful. Thank you for listening.